Hey everyone, I am Kasha from Movement Media and I'm really excited to bring you this free training today. My passion is working with professionals such as yourself in the health, wellness and fitness industry. I am a fitness and gym lover myself and can't live without my training and good nutrition. It really makes me feel alive. So what I would like to do is share some of my tips to help you guys with your social media presence during this time to give you the most exposure and engagement you can get. So what I'm going to talk about today is something I love called the 80-20 rule, which a lot of you might be familiar with and also know how this refers to nutrition and training. For example, when you're, really strict 80% of the time and then 20% of the time you give yourself a little bit more leeway with, a few drinks here and there. This rule actually also can apply to your social media, especially Instagram, but all platforms. And it can really help you with creating more engagement and growing your brand presence and following on your social platforms. So let me explain what I mean by this. A lot of people who come to me to ask for help want to know how to do Instagram better, so to speak. And what I say is the 80-20 rule works this way. 80% of the time, you should inform, inspire, and entertain your followers with the content that you're creating and posting and putting out there. And 20% of the time, you can focus more solely on your products and services. So this might sound like a daunting thing, like what am I going to post 80% of the time and the other 20%? But don't worry, that's what I'm going to cover with you. So for example, one of the things that I'm going to talk about is a few content ideas. So even though the gyms aren't currently running as of this recording, we all will be back because, it's also about a sense of community. So content ideas, even if you're not training clients in the gym at the moment, if you're a PT, for example, or if you're a health professional and you're not seeing your clients face-to-face, even I'm just doing online consults at the moment, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be posting and adding value and informing, entertaining and inspiring your followers. So whenever you're going to create any content, the first thing to ask yourself is, does this add value? Does this actually add value to my target client? And is it something that they're going to find useful or, entertaining or informative? So it's good to have a mix of types of content. So for example, sharing your fitness and training tips, or, breaking it down into lists. Long form posts are like a diary entry, are quite trending on Instagram at the moment. So you could share something along the lines of my top 5 tips for eating healthy at home during isolation. And at the bottom of that list, you could write, save this for later, or tag someone who needs this, because that way you're actually encouraging people to take action and you're providing value. And somebody saving a post on Instagram is actually, one of the highest engagement metrics that you can get on the platform. And if you're wondering what to focus on in terms of your success on Instagram, it's not about how many followers you have, it's about the levels of engagement that you're actually getting. It's better to have, 1,000 highly focused customers, potential customers, rather than 10,000 random followers from all around the world, who are not likely to ever become a real client for you. So quality over quantity. Ideally, you have both, you grow your following and you also get great engagement from all of them. But don't give up. We all have to start somewhere. And, it's again, very similar to training, consistency and repetition is what's going to bring you the results. And especially at the moment, you can't expect to get an immediate return every time you put something out there. It's really about showing up and presenting value. So, you know, more ideas for content. You can also repost an older post that you've done that perhaps is, you know, way down your Instagram feed, because nobody's usually scrolling all the way down through Instagram. So repurposing content is very useful. Video content is fantastic. So if you are able to actually humanize your brand and let people see you and experience you and connect with you and share your personal insights or opinions that, you know, present you as an industry leader, you can't really beat your engagement metrics when it comes to video. If you're nervous about putting video out there, my main tip for you is, you know, like the running shoes that I'm currently wearing, Nike, just do it. I mean, I could totally have procrastinated this video, and I know, you know, I could potentially have practiced it 100 times to, you know, make it perfect. But at the end of the day, there's no such thing. People want to see the real you and know that you're showing up and that you care and that you are genuinely connecting. So more content ideas, you know, you can do, what else? Befores and afters, showing results from clients. You can do, you know, behind the scenes sort of things, your own home training that you're doing at the moment, for instance. Giving people tips for when they're back in the gym and they're going to be training, because even if they're not going to use it right now, you know, they may have their own setup going. And once they are back in the gym, well, you're going to be the one who comes, you know, top of mind. One PT who does a really good job of this on Instagram is, you know, James Smith. He does get a lot of people pissed off because of his opinions, but put it this way, he knows how to create engagement, and he has very short, sharp, snappy, attention-grabbing, sensationalist headlines often on his videos. And if you are doing videos also, it's important to capture people's attention within the first few seconds. I mean, hopefully I haven't lost you by now, but there's no point of, you know, wasting that first few seconds with your branding or logo or something like that. So make sure you capture people with your point, even if you have, you know, a caption. You may have seen these on videos stating the main purpose or point of your video. Subtitles are very good to have on there as well, because a lot of people are watching, you know, with the sound turned off. What else can you share? You know, anything that you think is going to provide value. You can also share things that are, you know, funny, like, you know, quotes or memes, things that are inspiring, reposting from accounts that inspire you. Just think about what people are going to actually enjoy. And one really good thing to do is actually to check in with your insights on Instagram, especially, to see which of your posts are getting the most engagement. And then you can also create more of, you know, these types of content. I can actually show you where these posts live, where your insights live. So if you go to your Instagram feed and you click on the little hamburger menu bar, you will see that there's actually an insights tab there. And if you click on it, it'll come up and it has 3 sections: content, activity, and audience. Now, if you go to, for example, this is a good thing to check if you've never checked your insights. If you go to posts and you click on see all, it'll come up saying posts, all, 1 year, and reach. If you change that to, say, for example, 6 months, and change reach to engagement, it will then show you which of your posts over the past 6 months have had the most engagement. I'm actually showing you my personal account, which I've switched from personal to business back to personal because I was experimenting with it. But usually you would see, you know, the last 6 months worth of posts as long as your Instagram profile is on a business account. And if it's not, yeah, get in touch with me and I can make sure that it is for you. Otherwise, you'll miss out on all these insights and a lot of other features, including having your contact details there and, you know, being able to link to your Facebook page. So content ideas, what else can we talk about? You know, expert opinions, also, you know, your favorite recipes, for example, things that are timely, that are going to really add value to people. There's endless ideas of things you can post. And as I was saying before, you can repurpose your content from before. When you're creating one piece of content, like a video for Instagram, you know, make sure you post it on all your other social media, like Facebook and, you know, even Google My Business. And you can even include a link to your newsletter in it. If you're experiencing a bit of quieter downtime at the moment, you know, you could use this time to, for example, create a recipe ebook of healthy eating recipes, or, you know, record a free training with some valuable tips and insights like what I'm sharing with you now. And that way you can also put it out there and offer it to people. And if they would like to, you know, benefit from downloading it, reading it, watching it, consuming it, they can give you their email address, and then, you know, you can start sending them some more valuable information. Just don't, you know, use it to hard sell them to death, because these days people expect value, and it does take a lot of touch points and sometimes months and even longer before somebody who's been following you may, you know, actually spend any money with you. But it does happen. You just have to put in the hard work. Okay, and so we've talked about content ideas. It's also going to talk about caption ideas. So I mentioned about, you know, save this for later, tag someone who may benefit from this. You know, another clever thing that I see is captions and posts that humanize your brand. So it's a great time to put a post out there along the lines of, "Hi guys, thanks for following me. I thought I'd take the time to actually introduce myself, you know, and share, you know, 5 or 10 quirky things about me that you never know, that you never knew. You know, what is something about yourself that you've never shared before?" Hopefully not too personal. Those sorts of posts, you know, they actually really get people to know you and connect with you. So that's also, you know, a great idea. And in terms of other caption ideas, you know, you can also just post to remind people that you're, you know, still around. Say, you know, just a reminder, we will be back. We'll be back at the gym. In the meantime, you know, I can help you with your online consult or your online training or your home fitness, whatever it is. But, you know, don't think that you need to offer free stuff because it's not about that. There's a lot of free stuff out there already. Offer value and continue to offer what people need. You know, you can perhaps, if you have got a bit more time, think about, you know, putting out there a complimentary 15-minute phone consult for anyone who's interested in potentially, you know, becoming a client or engaging your services, that sort of thing. So, yeah. What else was I going to say in terms of caption ideas? You know, if you're reposting from another account, make sure that you're always crediting the account that you're reposting from. It's a good way to also cross-collaborate with other businesses. So, for instance, at the moment, I am working with Snap Fitness in Claremont to offer, you know, 15-minute free consults to all their members and friends, and, you know, we're reposting and sharing it across our social channels. If you don't know how to repost, you can actually download an app. I can show you. So there's a few versions of this, whether you're iPhone or Android, there are versions. But if you just go to your app store and type in repost, the one I use is purple and white. And what it will do is it will actually save the photo or video from the other account to your camera roll and copy the caption for you. So you can then, upload it to your Instagram feed and credit them. It can also add little attribution marks showing a little mark on the photo that it's coming from another account, but you can remove this and just credit the account and even tag them when you post, because then they're more likely to see it and comment back. That also reminds me, there are also, feature accounts out there. So for example, you would all be aware of the food review site, Zomato Australia, or, Perth is okay, accounts like that on Instagram. They actually exist solely with the purpose of finding content on other users' feeds and reposting it and crediting them. So if there is a post that you have that would be relevant to one of these types of accounts, it's worth thinking about this, and also, tagging them in and using the hashtag when you're going to be posting, so they have a chance of resharing what you're creating with all of their followers. And whenever you're posting and tagging someone in your stories, that's also extremely powerful, because then they can also share it to their story, and that can get you a lot of visibility. Okay, and I hope that gives you some ideas to start with. And, with the change of season and the current climate, there's just so many things I can help you brainstorm individually for your specific niche. But just think about what your clients, needs and pain points and desires are, and make sure whatever you're creating to put out there is meaningful. And 80% of the time do this, and then, as I was saying when we started, the other 20% of the time you can then solely focus on your products or services. On Instagram, you don't want to really go for the hard sell, so to speak. It's more about, putting value out there, and then people will naturally want to buy from you, unless you have a, product which is like a e-commerce product. Then you can actually look at Instagram shopping, where people can actually, tap to shop directly from Instagram. And the same goes on Facebook. That's very effective because it's very smooth. It's just the tap of a button without you having to, actually caption anything about price or discount or anything like that. Okay, what else I was going to talk about? I was going to also talk to you about hashtag ideas. Okay, so now is a good time to also maybe work on some hashtag lists. So I don't know if you're using up to 30 hashtags per post every time you post, but if you aren't, you're missing out, because these hashtags, they are really like your road signs to direct people towards your content. They're like your Google keywords of Instagram. They are actually like, flagging the topics that you're talking about. So people have a much higher chance of actually finding your content if you use relevant hashtags that apply to your content. Now, the best way to actually search for these hashtags is directly on Instagram, because that way you can actually see how many posts exist on Instagram now for that particular hashtag. But there is one handy little app that I like that you can download as well. It's called Hashtag Inspector. So just a second, let me find it in my apps. Where is it? There we go. So it is this little Moroni one here, Hashtag Inspector. It mostly shows you the numbers now. It didn't before. The benefit of it is that if you already sort of have an idea of what kind of hashtags you want to search for and use, you can use it to then generate ideas for more similar ones, and you can actually copy them and save them onto your notes in your phone. So I'll just put one in here as an example. I'll type in Perth fitness, for instance. Fitness, type that in here. Search. Yeah, it does pop up with ads, which is a little bit annoying. Sorry about that. Anyway, but you just close the ad and away you go. It's come up here. So Perth fitness, it's showing me 270,400. Okay. In terms of numbers, it's actually good to use hashtags that have 500,000 or less in terms of the search results. And depending how niche your business is and how niche you want to go, you may even want to, go for hashtags that have 20,000 or less. You can include, one or two big ones in there, but generally the reason why it's not recommended is, first of all, unless your post makes it to the top of the results section as the most popular, it will pretty much disappear into no man's land within seconds of you posting it if you use those, higher volume hashtags. And also, it's not likely to actually attract genuine, authentic followers who are interested in your business or brand because it's too generic, and often a lot of them are quite. So I am back. Sorry guys, just bear with me, it just cut out, but I'm back. Okay, we've got 11 minutes to go. That was a bit of a technical glitch. Anyway, so I was talking about the hashtag numbers. Yes, so I was saying hashtags with less than 500,000 results are generally good. You can also, localize it as well. So instead of fitness, I've put in there as an example, Perth fitness. And then I've gone and clicked on it, and that, automatically selects the hashtag, and it will then show you at the bottom, selected one. It's come up with all these other ideas. So it's got, Perth fitness guide, 1,400. I might click on that. It's also then got, similar to if you were searching this on Instagram, it then says similar. Okay, and then it's got their Perth Fit Fam, hashtag Perth Fit Fam. That's a big one. It's got 515,300 results. You can, that's a bit over 500,000, but you can include that one in there. But for instance, it's showing fitness 389.9 million. That is way too many. You're just going to appear in there with a whole, multitude of other posts with such a broad category. It's very unlikely to, go to your target market person in your area, so to speak. The difference is, this is for your posts. If you're using hashtags on your story, you can go for a higher volume one just to test it out and see if that gets you more visibility and reach. So you go through and, you would start to save all of these, and, when you get to 30, you can click on where it says selected, and then it comes up and you can click on copy to clipboard. Success. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, should I actually post my hashtags in the caption or the comments section of my post on Instagram, and what's the difference and why? So Instagram is, a visual platform, as we're aware. It's really like its own search engine now. We can call it Insta Google, but it started off as very much a visual, photo sharing platform, especially for artists and bloggers and so on. It's evolved to so much more than that now, with Instagram TV and longer form videos and, shopping and stories. However, at the end of the day, you want your posts to look visually appealing. So that's why you'll see that people often hide the hashtags in the comments section of their post. You might see the ... and that's just so that they get hidden and don't appear like boom, spamming in your face. However, I've researched it, and if you do have them in your caption, in your actual caption, especially if you're using a scheduling tool to actually, schedule your posts in advance, you'll potentially need to do that depending on what you're using. And there's no actual difference, or not much at all, in terms of the performance of the the post. It's just what you prefer, and if you're posting at the time or if you're scheduling your posts. And that's another good tip. I shouldn't share all my tips with you guys because I have nothing left, but I'm just kidding. There's always new things to learn. The free scheduling tool that I use for Instagram and Facebook is actually called Facebook Creator Studio. It was released a few months ago now, I guess, by Facebook. And because it's their own app and because, you know, Facebook own Instagram, you will not get penalized in terms of using this to schedule your posts. Whereas there have been rumors before that using a third-party software tool such as, say, you know, Hootsuite, for instance, may not give you the same reach and visibility because the social media platforms like it when you spend as much time as possible on their platforms, and they don't like to lose you to another app, you know, if that makes sense. And they also reward users who actually, you know, use the newer features of the platforms. So as you may be aware, you know, stories on Instagram, they've been around for a while now, but they're still one of the newer features. So those little circles that you see appearing on the top of your feed when you're scrolling Instagram, they're the stories. And the person that, you know, updates their story that you're following the most recently will appear first. So yeah, stories are a topic within themselves. I'll do another training, or when I release my online training, I'll definitely cover stories a lot. But, you know, if you're not on stories, you need to be there. One of the first things you can do to practice with stories is, you know, if you do a post, you can also share it to your story. So I'll show you where you can do that. So for example, go on Instagram, say for instance, I've just done this post. I'm actually going hiking again tomorrow, yay. Anyway, there's these little icons, the heart, the bubble, and the arrow there. If you click on the arrow, it comes up like that, and you can click on the top option which says add post to your story. And then it comes up like that with your photo. And then you can, you know, click on the top here and choose to add text. Or if you click on the stickers, you can add GIFs, hashtags, location. That's something that's, you know, actually really important. Whenever you post on your story or your newsfeed on Instagram, adding your location is called geotagging. That will help your post get a lot more visibility as well. And, you know, all of these things that I'm telling you, for example, use the hashtags, do the geotagging, and so forth. You don't have to take my word for it, but actually do it and then look at your insights, and you'll be able to see, even for your individual post, you know, who has found your post from the location, how many people rather, not who, how many people have found it from the hashtags. So for example, that post, if I go there, it says view insights and post insights, and I go up. Yeah, it will actually show you all of this data in here, and you can use it to, you know, measure how it's working for you. So from hashtags, 14 people, you know, 456 accounts reached, 15% weren't following me, etc. So always good to check in with your insights because data doesn't lie. So look, guys, I hope this has given you some inspiration and motivation and encouragement and ideas to keep going during this time, because it is tough for a lot of us, but things are changing and we all need to keep our online presence going so that we remain top of mind and we're not forgotten. I will also drop you a link to join my new Facebook group where I'll be sharing more valuable, hopefully valuable content with you, and new courses and training that I'm working on at the moment. I also love getting ideas and feedback from you guys as to what you would like to hear about. And I am also available to assist you if you have any questions after this. Please feel free to reach out to me. You can send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, or you can send me an email to kasha@mcnaughmedia.com. But yes, I hope you stay safe. I hope you continue to post and continue to create content. And don't forget that staying top of mind, is really important. And if you're constantly adding value and showing up and showing that you care and bringing something to the table that people really appreciate, then eventually they are, very likely to do business with you. But it does take time. So now is a really good time to work on your content strategy. And yeah, I can help you out if you get stuck. But don't be afraid. And just share some of your personality and share some of your vulnerability and document a bit of your life behind the scenes, especially on your stories. What's an everyday scenario for you might be actually really exciting and unusual for someone else, or really motivational. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, I am going to leave it at that, and I will be in touch soon with more information and tips and videos via the group. I will post the link for you. Thank you very much, and I will speak to you soon.